Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a Jason Wu Clean Beauty try on and demo. This is a clean beauty brand that's launching at Target pretty soon. January 17th or 14th. I will put the date in the description, but I purchased these all off of their website. I also got 50% off. I will link the discount code if it still works if you were interested in trying any of these things, but it's so exciting. And let's just go ahead and get into the video. Before we do that, if you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it at any point. I forgot what I was gonna say. Let's get started. I already have all of my base products on except for blush and highlight and brows. I will link all the products I used for my face today. Let's get started with the first base product I have from the line. And by the way, let me know what you guys think of how far the camera zoomed in. I zoomed in pretty far because when I watch beauty videos, personally, I really like to see the products and like the texture on the face. Like I hate when the camera is like so far away and you can't really see what's happening. So let me know what you think. I could zoom in even further than this. So let me know below your thoughts. But first product we have is the Jason Wu Magic Matte Oil. So I decided to pick this one up because it sounded really unique. I do have combo to oily skin, so this is something that I would find useful as well. I believe the mattifying ingredient in this is silica. It looks like a little bit cloudy. I do already have this on. The texture is very lightweight and it's a dry oil feeling, so it is not like an oily oil, which I wasn't expecting for something that claims to be a matte product. I put this in my T-zone and it went really beautifully over my skincare and it went beautifully under my makeup. It did not pill, so we will see. I didn't feel like it had like an instant mattifying effect or anything, maybe like a little bit, but it wasn't as crazy as I was expecting it to be. We will see if it actually controls oil throughout the day. I'll update you guys at the end of the day about how it wore, but I mean, so far it looks pretty good. Next, I picked up the Faux Freckle. This is called Jason the Freckle Boy. They only have one shade of this. This is $14, but I did get half off, so it was actually very affordable. This is the packaging. The one thing I will say about their packaging, all of the products came in a box like this. There's also a plastic insert tray, which I feel like they could have definitely downsized the packaging a lot. Like if you just had them in a cardboard box without the plastic and just not be able to see the product. That's not like a deal breaker for me as long as there's like a picture of it. So that's the one comment on the brand so far, but let's go ahead and try this out. I did put this on yesterday. I already have some thoughts about it. I do think the packaging is super cute. I like how it's in this like light nude shade. So the instructions for this, it says to apply a single dot or in clusters, wait a few seconds. The longer you wait, you'll get a bolder look, and then to tap it out with your fingertips. So it has a just normal type of brush tip applicator, and here's the shade, which is very, very warm on my skin. It's actually next to like one of my natural freckles. You can tell it's very bold, sort of what it blends out to be. So when I first watched this, I was like, this is very warm and not very realistic looking. I tried it on yesterday and it was pretty nice. I will apply it again to show you how it ends up looking. So to apply this, as they suggest, I'm just gonna tap a couple on, wait a few seconds, and then tap it out with my fingers. I don't want them to dry too much, so I'm gonna stop right there and then pat it in. Hopefully you'll be able to tell that diffuses the color a ton. Here's what the freckles look like. I just did a very tiny amount on the other side. I don't want to do too much because I feel like the more I use, it's like kind of obvious how warm it is. So although initially the shade looked very weird, blended out, it's pretty decent. One thing I did notice is on this model's face, it doesn't look nearly as warm. I know she has like warmer skin, but just looking at the shade, like it does not look like the shade that this actually is. Same with the, have pictures of people with different skin tones on their website. Same with those pictures. I just looked at them online and like it doesn't, it's showing up very warm on me. I don't know if like those are edited, but I feel like it's a little bit misleading in terms of the tone of it, but I don't hate it. It looks pretty good. But just for another comparison to how warm this is the ColourPop Freckle Pen in the lighter shade, and then that's the Jason Wu freckle color, so very different. I use this one a lot. I like the tone of it. It's more of a neutral cool tone. So if you have very fair skin like me, you might like this, but I just wish they offered a couple different colors in it. I think that would make it a really nice product because overall the application and like the realistic lookingness of it is nice. Next we have a multi-use product. This is called Hot Fluff. 7 shades of this, $12. Mine was only $6 that I got half off on, which is pretty pretty awesome. It says that this is a weightless modern matte lipstick that has been formulated to be easily blendable and feel just like skin, and each shade is designed to be universally flattering on all skin tones. You can use this for lips, eyes, and cheeks. So we're gonna try this on our cheeks. I have tried this on my lips and I really liked it, but I don't know about the cheeks. They do have this really cool Jason Wu engraving on the bullet, and this is the shade Biscotti, which is so stunning. It looks way warmer on the website than it does in person. It actually has like a little bit of a mauviness to it. I feel like these swatches online, again, are a little misleading, especially for a couple products I'm going to show you today. I picked them out and they just were totally different than what I was expecting, but this shade I'm very excited. In person, it's just as beautiful. Since I don't really love applying products like this directly to my cheeks because they do pick up foundation most of the time, I'm going to build some up on my hand and then use a brush to apply it from there. I'm just using a Luxie small stipple brush and just making sure it's on my bristles here. Oh, that's actually really pretty. It's blending a lot smoother than I was anticipating because it's a matte formula. It's actually really pigmented as well. I love this shade. It's blending super nicely. The shade is stunning. I'm really impressed with the application. Usually I'm not a cream product type of person. I love powders for my face. It actually has like a slight sheen to it. It looks very healthy. I'll also be using this on my lips later on in the video, so stay tuned for that. But first impressions on the cheeks, it's actually very stunning. I'm gonna quickly do a highlight before we move on. I also think if you did this freckle product before your foundation or even just before powder, it would give you a really natural look depending on your skin tone and how much product you use. I think I might try this under my powder because I think powder would be nice to diffuse it even more. And when I was tapping it in, I feel like it picked up my foundation, just my fingertip. Next, I have some eye product. This line actually has a lot of products for a newly launched company. I did not pick up any of their brow products, even though I really wanted to, because the shades, it didn't look like they would have one that would work for my brows because I'm very specific. I don't like it to be too warm of a blonde or like too cool. And they don't really have a ton of shades. They only have like light, medium, and dark. So again, I wish they had more like shade range for the brow products because I feel like 3 is like not really enough. That's not going to cover everyone's brow preference. So hopefully they'll expand on that in the future. But on to our first eye product. This is an eye primer called their Woo Prime Eyeshadow Primer. They have a couple different shades. I picked up the white one. I literally did not have an eyeshadow primer before I bought this, so that's why I bought it. I thought it was really cool and sort of more unique for a clean beauty brand to actually do an eye primer. Kind of why this line is exciting me so much, because it's unique formulas and not just that same like everyday natural makeup look, which I am so freaking bored of. If another brand does that, I'm so over it. Like, I just want to see more unique formulations. So here's the little applicator. It's actually very similar to the Urban Decay primer potion. First time I swatched this, I did way too much. I mean, even that is a huge amount of eye primer, so be very careful. It's a super pigmented white, so I'm gonna make sure I only have a tiny bit of this and then dab it all over my eyes. I wanted to get the white. I thought it would be really nice for doing more bold looks, and just because I have fairer skin, I like how brightening it is. So they have 4 shades of this and it is $12. I have the space white shade. They also have a light, medium, and deep shade for this. It went on really nicely. It's not super tacky. It's sort of just drying like pretty matte. It has a little bit of tackiness to it. We will see how the eyeshadows perform. Have yet to try this, so pretty excited. Next is this cute little 9-pan palette. This is the Desert Rose shade. These are $15. This one has both a mix of matte and some shimmers right down the center. The other 2 shades, one is all shimmer and the other one has some deeper tones. This one looked nice for a soft everyday look. You get a like lighter cream shade. This, I love that they included this, because when I have a palette that's sort of an everyday palette, they usually have a shade like this but nothing lighter, and this is never light enough to actually highlight for me. So I'm super happy they have a nice, very light, almost white matte shade. I also absolutely love this shade here. You guys know that I use this shade from Makeup Geek literally all the time. And this one is super similar. It's that mustardy, just beautiful neutral brown. Get sort of a more warmer tone brown here. This one's like a reddish brown, and then in the center like the pink glitter shade, a white gold, and classic bronze. To start this look, I'm using this light soft brown, and this is just going right in our crease as a transition shade, blending pretty nicely over the eye primer so far. Doing the same over here. These are pretty pigmented. They're not very pigmented though. They're definitely a softer, more buildable type type of shadow. I have different thoughts on the metallic shades in the middle. We'll get to those in a little bit. But the mattes I do really like. I think it's nice to have a bunch of neutrals together for an everyday look. Next, I'm dipping into the warm mustardy brown on a smaller crease brush. This is a Luxie Small Tapered Blending, and this is also going into my crease, but a little bit closer to the outer V, focusing on more of the outer half and not bringing it up or in so much. Everything seems to be going well with the eye primer so far. I'm not used to using an eye primer. I usually do concealer and then a powder on top, so to have something a little bit tacky worried me a bit. Everything's looking super smooth and the shadows have blended out really nicely. I'm just taking this same shade on a smaller shadow brush, and this is going lightly under my lower lash line, focusing on the outer half. I'm dipping into the same shade we have been using and building up the outer V a tiny bit more. Now that we have a pretty neutral base set down, I'm going into the warmer brown in the top right here, using the same Luxie brush, but I cleaned it off quite a bit, and I'm focusing this again on the outer half of my eye. This is gonna add a lot of warmth. We're going for more of like a pink toned look, so this will just help tie in the pink tones more. I'm actually doing sort of a replica of my 2020 beauty favorites makeup look. A lot of you guys commented and said you want a tutorial, so this is going to be very similar. The only difference is the outer half. It was probably just I had more of a pink shade on. And this one doesn't really have anything that's warmer than that. Try your best here. Next, for the brow bone and my inner corner, I'm taking the very light, it's almost white, it has a hint of pink to it, but it's pretty much there. I love this brush for the inner corner. It's a ColourPop E21. This was like a holiday collection set, but I think they still have these brushes on their site. Onto the shimmer shades of this palette is where I get a little disappointed in their formula. I'll try to swatch them and show you what I'm talking about, but they're more of like a sheer type of glitter topper as opposed to being like a really creamy metallic. They're not like super sheer, but they're definitely on the more sheer glittery side, which I wasn't expecting with these. I would have definitely preferred a smooth metallic, just buttery shade to really add a pop to the lid. So this, I'm going to use one of these shades today, but I wish they were different. The mattes are very beautiful. They're not super pigmented. And also, if I were to change one thing about this palette, I'd probably switch out like this brown for a very deep brown so you could do liner or really intensify the look, because all of these are very similar, especially when they're blended together. They sort of just give you this mid-tone color. So not a lot of range of depth to be able to build up looks in here. But other than that, I do really enjoy the matte formulas, especially for something you could pick up at Target. I mean, very affordable, great for beginners. The shimmer shade I think I'm going to use is this one up here, which is a little bit of a purpley pink. And I'm just using my finger to tap this on the outer corner. I think you can tell there's a little bit of pigment there, but it's more of like a glittery type of vibe. So if I would have picked up the palette that has all shimmers, I think I would have definitely been disappointed. So I'm glad I got the one that has some matte. That's a forewarning. If you're looking at these palettes, I would get one of them that has some mattes in there because I think that's where they stand out. Next up, we have the Jason Wu Celestial Lust. These are little eye glitters, a couple different shades. I decided to get the pink one, which I don't know why I have so many pink shades in formulas like this. It has this flat double-sided brush to it, so it picks up quite a lot of product. It has some chunkier glitters in it for sure. It's pretty light in its base, and it looks like it has some red, blue, like light gold shimmers in there. All right, let's go ahead and apply this. I removed most of the product off of the brush, and I'm going to paint this for the most part all over my lid, so it applies smoothly for the most part. It does seem like one of those products that if you keep going over with this brush, it sort of picks up and it gets a tad bit patchy. I patted the outer corner with my finger, and it did pick up a lot of like the chunkier shimmers, but it made it look a lot smoother. So I'm gonna go ahead and just repeat that same process over here. So upon first impressions, I'm not initially wowed with this. Verdict is still out. I find that it was a little bit chunky, especially on this eye when I used like the amount that came on the brush without cleaning it off. It got really chunky, and then with this eye where I did scrape it off, I feel like I had to keep dipping it in to get like a smooth finish. So not like obsessed with these. I'll have to keep using them. I'm also not sure if the eye primer sort of interfered with that. So we'll have to see. It's not something I'm like amazed by or will necessarily like recommend right away. We'll see with that one. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my eye look. I think I'm actually gonna go in with some other shadows just to deepen up this outer corner. I wish they had a deeper shade in this palette, as I was mentioning, just for some more depth because I'm really craving that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. We'll probably do some liner and lashes, and then I'll be back to show you the lip product. So I went ahead and did some liner. Liquid liner I would not recommend. It was very like flaky and textured to do a liquid liner over this like glitter shade, and there's a lot of flaky on my face. Maybe powder would look a little bit better, or just mascara, I don't know. But anyway, I have a new mascara here to try, which is why I just turned the camera back on so I could try it with you guys. This is the Bite Beauty Upswing Full Volume Mascara. The tube of this is like huge. I don't know why. Maybe the brush is big. Okay, that is a pretty freaking large brush right there. Yeah, it's more of a soft bristle brush. It looks like it has a ton of product in there. Look how big that brush is. I don't know. It also has this hourglass shape to it. Let's go ahead and try it. Not as lengthening as I would like, but it is a volumizing mascara, so I'll give it a break. It is pretty lengthening still. Not as messy as I was expecting or clumpy. That was just a couple coats. We'll probably try to build it up more than that. So far I like it. This is super pretty. It is lengthening once I built it up a lot. It did not get clumpy. I did probably 3 or 4 coats of this. It is looking nice. You might want to do like a lash comb with this. If you build it up too much, that might be helpful, but honestly I haven't had any problems. Get like a little bit messy on this eye. High hopes for this. I hope it wears well. I have it on the bottom lashes too. We'll update obviously at the end of the day, but let's move on to our lips, shall we? Oh, I'm gonna do lashes. That's just the way we roll. That's just the way we roll. Lashes are on. I'm very much feeling this mascara and how thickening it is because it helped to blend my lashes really nicely with the falsies. These are Jasmine Brown by Allure. They're trimmed a lot because they were super old. Absolutely love that lash style. So those are just on the outer corner. I thought it'd be the perfect little touch for this look. Moving on, we have quite a few lip products to talk about here. Next up, I decided to pick up the Extra Pout Lip Plumper in this light pink shade. You could barely tell it's pink on camera. This I had on in the beginning of the video, and it's a super nice formula. For some reason, I thought it was gonna be sticky, even though it's like not a lip gloss, it's a lip plumper. And it does sting a little bit, not too bad. It's pretty mild in terms of lip plumpers. I honestly didn't really notice any lip plumping with it, but I wasn't paying it too much attention. Verdict is out. I like how smooth and balmy it feels. Next, we have a lip liner. So these correspond with their, what are these called? Honey Fluff shades, which are similar to the Hot Fluff, but in like a tube formula. So the lip liner I decided to pick up is in the shade My Angel. So here's the lip liner in the shade My Angel, and then the corresponding Honey Fluff in My Angel as well. And then the one next to that is Woo Me, which these look very similar. This one has like a tad bit more of like a pink to it. So I was really disappointed that these are so similar because online they didn't look like that. And also I feel like the shades on the tubes aren't that accurate. Like the My Angel shade is very warm. This shade I actually don't like. I tried the lip liner. It was not flattering on me at all. It's not only very light, but it's very warm. I wish they had swatches of these on their website. They don't currently have any swatches, so I kind of had to guess. Well, they have like picture swatches, but not actually on someone's skin. So pretty disappointed in how similar these are. Neither of these shades I like on their own. They're way too light, so I'm actually not going to use these on their own today. The lip liner formula is pretty creamy. It's not super waxy. I'll have to pick up another shade of these to actually give them a go. But now we have the shade I used on my lips, which is Biscotti, and this is their Hot Fluff, by the way. So there's the Hot Fluff shade. It's really pigmented. These feel really light and moussey. These still feel like that, but they're a little bit more pigmented and feel more like a lipstick. So since I'm not a huge fan of this lip liner shade, it's also lighter than the lip we're gonna do today. I'm just gonna pull in the e.l.f. Retro Paradise lip liner, the darker shade in the kit. This was on clearance at my Target, the set with 2 lip liners and a lip gloss for $5. I was like, of course I gotta get that. There's a swatch actually very similar to that, so perfect. I had this on my lips for quite a while yesterday and I really loved it. That pigment though, it's so extremely smooth and matte, but doesn't feel like drying or really sink into your lines that much. Since these are too light to use on their own, I figured I could at least use them in the center of my lips so I get some sort of use out of them. I'm gonna use the Woo Me shade just because it has a little bit more pink to it, scraping off a lot of the product. Just putting this right on the center of my lip, create a little bit more dimension. There we have our little lip combo. I absolutely love this as a lipstick and it was really pretty on my cheek. I'll have to try it on my eyes soon. So far, I definitely prefer this over the Honey Fluff formula. Ignoring the fact that the shades I don't love. It's just thinner, not as pigmented. This might be nice if you prefer something more sheer, but I also feel like you could sheer this out a lot. I would go with this one because it is multi-use. I think it's just stunning. The shade Biscotti specifically, so stunning. I'm actually going to use the lip plumper as a gloss because I did this yesterday and I thought it looked really pretty. The lip plumper is super smooth and makes your lips just look so juicy. Let me fix my hair and then I'll be back to do an overview roundup of my thoughts on these products so far. Starting with the first product I tried from the brand, the Magic Matte Oil. This was really nice. It didn't interfere with my makeup or skincare. I don't feel like it's really doing much at the moment. I seem to be getting oily pretty typically. We will see by the end of the day if I can really notice a difference. Something I'll have to keep experimenting with, of course. That one, the verdict is still out for sure. Moving on to the Freckle product. I think this was nice. I wish I had more shades. Pretty much my only complaint with it though, because it blends out nicely. It looks pretty natural. If you want to look even more natural, I would use this under a light coverage foundation or under a powder just so it diffuses even more. But yeah, pretty nice so far. For the eye primer, I really loved how this applied. It wasn't too tacky and the eyeshadows blended beautifully over it. I'm curious to see if this is going to help with creasing because I have pretty oily lids. So far, again, another one I'll have to continue to test out. But first impressions are I am impressed with this, especially for the price and being able to grab something at Target. Pretty cool. The eyeshadow palette in Desert Rose I think is nice. You get a really good array of neutral everyday shades. They do have 2 other shade variations of this palette. Like I mentioned, the one thing I would change is to have a deeper shade in here just to add some depth. I did have to go in with another shadow palette just to add that depth I was really looking for. And then also I think the shimmer shades, they're not horrible, but I do wish they were more of a creamy metallic. So I wouldn't say to totally pass on this because I think the mattes are really beautiful. They're not super pigmented, so don't really expect that, but they blend really nicely and I think are great for everyday or for beginners or if you're just at Target and looking for an eyeshadow. I'm really excited that they do have eyeshadows in the collection because in terms of like clean eyeshadows at Target, they have like what Pacifica ones, if Pacifica's at your Target. Well, people, that's pretty much it. Really cool, more affordable price. I will definitely reach for this again. I just wish that the metallics were different. The Celestial Lust eye shimmer glitter, I don't know, the more I have it on my lids, the more I don't really like it. It seems to be like pretty flaky. When I was doing my eyeliner, it was difficult to work with. I think it's just hard to get it evenly distributed on the applicator. Like this eye actually looks very different than this one. This one's way more glittery. So again, one I will have to continue to use. Not something that I think is horrible. It looks pretty, but I'll have to continue testing it and see how it performs. The lip liner and the Honey Fluff. The lip liner, I don't know, because the shade I don't like, so I haven't really been able to test it. It's pretty creamy and seems nice, not super waxy. So this is one I will have to pick up another shade to test. And then in terms of the Honey Fluff, I do think it was super pretty on the center of the lips. Fortunately, I cannot return these, so I'll have to use these strictly as just center of the lip shades for now. I do prefer the Hot Fluff formula though, just because it's more pigmented. These are a bit thinner and feel more like silicone-y. So the Hot Fluff in Biscotti, I really wish I got more shades of these because I absolutely love the formula of this. I mean, the lips look so good. It was also beautiful as a blush, which surprised me. This was probably my favorite from the whole collection. Honestly, I was not expecting this to be my favorite, but it did wow me upon first impressions. I think the lips look good, cheeks look good. I'm very curious to try this on my eyes. We will see, but definitely recommend this one so far. And then lastly, we have the Extra Pout Lip Plumper. I think it's super pretty as a gloss. I did also wear it on its own. I don't really feel like it was plumping, but it was really nice and balmy. Had a little bit of a tingle to it. So I guess it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a lot of plumping, I didn't really notice a huge difference, but if you want a nice non-sticky gloss or just a lip treatment to wear while you're doing your makeup, I do really like this one too. All right, so that was it for my Jason Wu collection try-on video. I will totally pick up more from this brand brand to experiment for you guys. Let me know in the comments if you see anything that you want me to try. Definitely let me know below so I can pick those up. They're launching at Target, so you should be able to access them. I'm not sure if they're launching in all Targets, but they do have a website you can purchase from. I will put the discount code that I used below if it still works. I believe it was FF50 for 50% off. So if you did want to try any of this, it's very affordable and fun, and I think probably one of my favorite clean beauty launches recently. A lot of them have been disappointing, so I'm glad there's at least a couple things I'm very interested in continuing using with this collection. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss my next videos. But thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.